Blessed good morning and welcome to our devotions for Thursday. Trusting that you had a restful night and you are ready for this glorious new day. It is always a glorious new day, and I trust that we're able to embrace it. And the way we do it best is by in recognizing that each day is separate and each day is a new beginning, that we practice releasing yesterday's old tribulations and challenges and to face the new day, geared up for whatever challenges this particular day will have to offer us. So it's an ongoing work, an ongoing challenge, but we must let go of one in order to be able to embrace the other afresh, anew. This way we come with all our resources. When we hold on to yesterday's challenges, we do not have enough to deal with today, and hence each succeeding day becomes more and more laborious for us to journey. So remember, it's important for us to release. At the end of the day, to release all that has taken place and allow ourselves to be renewed for the new day. We come this day as usual into our sacred little space of knowing, space of growing. We come with open hearts. We come with thankful hearts. We come breathing into that sacred space within us, acknowledging the gift of life, acknowledging new beginnings, new ways of being in the world, acknowledging all that is around us, all that supports us, all that nurtures us, all that challenges us. Recognizing the gift that is ours, which enables us to go higher and to be fully realized individuals. And so we breathe into this space, feeling the stillness and the peace, treasuring this stillness, this peace, becoming familiar with its sense, how it feels. Teaching ourselves our default space, the place to which we need always to return before we engage in with all that is around us. Home, as it were. Learning where home is. We can come home when life becomes challenging and we need a break, a place to renew, a place to re-energize in order to go back out with greater vigor. We need this place. Otherwise, life becomes seriously exhausting. And after time, you're not able to cope. So breathe into this space. Learn what it feels like. Explore it in its many corners and spaces. And know that this is home. This is home base. Feel the inner movement. Allow yourself to just be here. Feel the flow, the ebb and the flow that is associated with the wonderful, peaceful movement of the energy within. As we remain still in the external, we begin to experience an inner movement. Feel that inner movement. And just allow your body to respond to that inner movement. There's nothing to do, just feel. Feel and allow. And you will notice how your body begins its own movement, almost involuntary. Just allow. From that peace within, we read our text. Jesus was going up to Jerusalem. When he had come near Bethphage and Bethany, at a place called the Mount of Olives, he sent two of the disciples, saying, "Go into the village ahead of you, and as you enter it, you will find tied there a colt that has never been ridden. Untie it and bring it here. If anyone asks you, 'Why are you untying it?' just say this: 'The Lord needs it.'" So those who were sent departed and found it as Jesus had told them. As they were untying the colt, its owners asked them, "Why are you untying the colt?" They said, "The Lord needs it." Then they brought it to Jesus, and after throwing their cloaks on the colt, they set Jesus on it. As he rode along, people kept spreading their cloaks on the road. As he was now approaching the path down from the Mount of Olives, the whole multitude of disciples began to praise God joyfully with a loud voice for all the deeds of power that they had seen, saying, "Blessed is the King who comes in the name of the Lord. Peace in heaven and glory in the highest heaven." Some of the Pharisees and the crowd said to him, "Teacher, order your disciples to stop." He answered, "I tell you, if these were silent, the stones would shout out." This week we were focusing on healing, and part of that healing also involved developing what one has, and seeing in one's own gifts the potential for greater things. In the short passage this morning, which some of us might know as the triumphal entry into Jerusalem, a reading that we would normally hear on Palm Sunday, the words that stick out for me today are around the idea of Jesus having a need for the colt. He tells his disciples whom he has sent for the colt that if anyone asks, "Why are you untying the colt?" just say, "The Lord needs it." The Lord needs it. Those are the words I would like to invite us to reflect on this morning. The Lord needs it. The colt was an integral part of a divine plan, no doubt. It was established before time that this colt would be in the place that it was, that it would be tied, that the owners would be nearby, that the question would be asked, and the answer would be given. All of this would confirm, in a sense, that this was a divine plan. The simple experience of the disciples could be without all this taking place. Could have been just seen as one of those things. But Jesus telling them aforetime what to expect would have granted them even further confidence in all that they were doing. The Lord needs it. Do we ever consider in our own journey that there is a plan for our lives? Do we ever consider that the various things that we may be going through or experiencing are part of that plan? Do we ever look at life not from a place of victimhood, where we consider that things happen to me, but from a place of freedom, which tell us that things happen for me? There is an important message in these words, the Lord needs it. And I want to say that we need to recognize how essential we are to this total work of the salvation of our world. Not my salvation, not your salvation, but the earth. The earth as one living organism of which you and I are part. We contribute significantly as dwellers within the energy of the earth to all that happens, not only to ourselves individually, not only to ourselves collectively, but also to the entire earth. We have come to a place, I trust, where humanity understands the connectedness of all things, the energy associated with all of this. We are not just objects, but we are part of an energetics. We are part of a whole. The story this morning speaks to that from a very basic place, a very temporal place, from a place of objects. There's Jesus, a separate entity. There is the disciples, another entity. There is the colt, and there is the owner of the colt. But when we look at it from where we are, with all that we have come to understand, we can perceive it as just one flow of energy. All of it was connected. All of it had one common purpose. And these were just various stages of a movement. There is this wonderful sense that we are being invited to remember that the Lord needs it. The Lord needs what we have. The Lord needs the gifts that we have. The Lord needs the experiences that we go through, which are intended to bring us to a higher place, because the Lord needs us in that higher place. The Lord needs us to contribute to this work of rising the earth up, the total advancement, salvation of all that is. The Lord needs us. The Lord needs us to be where we are being called to be. And we must be prepared to allow, to accept. The fellows with the colt when they heard what the disciples said, they went ahead with it. They said, okay. And they released the colt. You and I, we have in our lives that same situation where there is something that God needs from us. There's something God needs to do using the gifts that are planted within us. But we need to be able to bring ourselves to a place where we can release those gifts. And when we release those gifts, it is like those owners of the colt releasing the colt. And then that gift can be used for the triumphal entry of the divine presence in our world.